What is going on, my friends? Aubrey Whitley here. So glad that you stopped by. If this is your first time at this channel and you like what you hear, you get value from today, please hit that subscribe button so that way you'll get notified when other videos come out. I try to post at least once a week. Sometimes I do more. So hit that subscribe and the like button. That way you'll get notified when new topics come out. And if you're coming back and you've been in my community, thank you. Welcome back. I love that you're getting value from this. Also, use the comments section. If there's ever any intel you guys have on a topic that I'm sharing on, or you want to know more about a topic, go ahead and let me know in the comments. This is a community. I don't want this to just be the Aubrey show. I want this to be about you guys. So definitely get involved. Alrighty. So today, let's talk about our topic at hand. I wrote it down because, to be honest, this is about my fifth take because I keep messing up my wording. I feel like I just can't quite get the point out. So I wrote it down. Hitting goals will amplify your current state, not change it. Woo! Let's talk about it. A lot of times we think that when we finally hit our target, that it's going to change everything for us, that we're going to have arrived. But the truth is, it should only be an extension of what we're already doing. In other words, it amplifies who we already are. It doesn't change us. It doesn't really change our situation drastically. It's just an extension of it. And it amplifies what we have going on. So we're going to slice and dice this. We're going to use some examples and get into this a little bit deeper. But think about money. That's the easiest example I can think of. You might have heard before that money is an amplifier. It totally is. A lot of times people think, if I just had $1 million, I'd be good. I wouldn't have issues. But the truth is, when you have a lot of money, it amplifies whatever you already have going on. So if you're in, let's say, an unhealthy relationship, and maybe you've created the story that you're in that relationship because you don't have the finances to get out of it. If you were to walk into money, one of two things would happen. You would either continue to stay in that relationship and the issues would get worse because now you've thrown money on it. So now there's going to be a little greed involved. Or you might get out of that relationship, and what's going to happen is you're going to attract the same type of person in the future. So it's going to happen all over again because you haven't changed your internal state. You haven't done the inside work. That's what a lot of people skip over, is they focus so much on the physical world. They focus on what they see in the mirror or the physical things they can acquire to make them feel good and change their state. When in reality, the power to do that is inside of us. So we have to align ourselves and get ourselves to the state that we want to be at in order to actually enjoy hitting goals and making money. So let's look at the flip side of it. I enjoy that more. Imagine being in a really healthy relationship, and maybe you guys want to travel together. You want to have experiences together and celebrate life. If you come into a lot of money, that's going to amplify it. It's going to amplify the state you're already in. You already feel joy. It's going to amplify it, generally speaking. So that's the difference. You're hitting your goals is not going to fix you. It's going to be an extension of you. All right. So a lot of times we think the prize is hitting the goal, but the prize is the journey, the changes we make along the way. So we are going to get into, how do I get aligned, right? How do we get ourselves into a state that we want to amplify? Because we know we want to hit goals, right? So how do we get ourselves in that state that we want to enhance? So we'll talk about that in just a second. I just want to bring up a couple more points so we really bring it home. Okay, so both of these examples, I'm not going to get specific on who they are. Just know that there are people I love very much. And this is how I interact with my friends and my family. I get really worn out by surface level conversation, and I love having discussions about goals and internal shifts and intentional creation. I love it. And so one of my dear friends, she has a prestigious job that she talks about it, and I have no idea what she's talking about, but I know she's really good at it. And she had this opportunity to move up. She was offered a promotion, basically. She was going to be taking on a lot more responsibility, which scared her, but she saw the bottom line, she saw the number, and she knew that that's a life-changing number. So she thought to herself, I'd be a fool not to take this. So she took the opportunity. But what she didn't pay attention to is that she was already feeling pretty stressed at her job. She felt spread too thin. And when she really took a step back, and she didn't realize this till later, but she didn't like how she felt usually at her job. So when she took that promotion, all of that enhanced. So it got to the point where then she was stretched real thin, and then she was really tense. And yes, the number was a lot better, a lot higher, I should say. She was bringing in a lot more money, and you would think, well, that gives you so much freedom. But that wasn't the state she was in when she came into all of that. So what happened is that state she was in amplified. She was more tense. She was more stressed. And she told me, she said, it's not worth it. It's not worth the money. Money won't do that to you, but money is an amplifier. So if you're already not happy and you come into a bunch of money, it amplifies the unhappiness. So now let's use a different example. She figured it out, by the way. She's cool. She's good now. But another friend, I'm going to use a bodybuilding show as an example. Her dream has been to go pro, and she recently is planning to step on the national stage. She's done plenty of national shows before, but she's bringing a look that she's never brought to the stage. And she told me, she's about 4 weeks out now, and she said, Aubrey, it feels weird because I just don't feel like it's hard enough. Like, I feel like I'm not really doing anything. And, we talk back and forth. And the thing is, she's already living the lifestyle of a pro bodybuilder. So it doesn't feel abnormal. It just feels like more of what she's already doing. She already loves to train hard. She already loves to be disciplined with her food and shape her body. So this is an extension of that. So I believe she will go pro. Absolutely. If not this show, she will go pro very soon if she wants to. But she will step across the stage. She's going to get her trophy and she's going to turn pro. And it's only going to enhance what she already loves, what she's already doing. It just feels natural. So really, that's the goal, is for, in the journey, for us to be making transformations closer to who we really are, enhancing our lives on the inside. So that way, when we get the external rewards, it amplifies it, and we want that feeling to grow. But you don't want to be like my other friend who, walked into a promotion with a job that she didn't really love, even though she kind of told herself she did, because she didn't pay attention to how she was feeling internally. So all that got amplified. So I figured that would help you maybe kind of see the difference before we talk about how to get aligned. How do I fix my state now when what I want isn't here yet? Oh, it's so fun. You don't need anything outside of you to feel a certain way inside. Even your thoughts alone can create misery or happiness. So you have to be very intentional with how you're living, with what you're doing with your time. The way you get aligned is doing more of what your true self loves to do. So as promised, I wanted to wrap this up by sharing, how do we get in alignment? Like, how do we create the state that we want to be in if we haven't hit the goal yet? And that's the whole idea. The journey is the point. The end destination isn't even the point. The journey is the point. That's where the magic happens. Just like my friend who's about to go pro, you get yourself into such a state where it feels natural. It just feels like the next thing that's going to happen because it's who you are. So if you feel like, okay, well, I'm not there, but I want to be there. I want to be full of joy, and I want to be in a state where if it was amplified, it would make me happier. You have to do what your true self loves to do. In order to get in alignment, you have to do what your true self loves to do, what you're called to do. So this is tricky in the world we live in, but it's absolutely possible. People are going to tell you what you should be doing, bosses, friends, etc. They're going to tell you what you should be doing. You yourself have developed stories over time, and you're telling yourself what you should be doing, knowing it doesn't feel right in your gut. That's another thing. And a lot of times we feel like we don't have choices, like we feel like we don't have time, or we feel like we can't say no. But let me tell you, you can do whatever you want. You are the creator of your experience in this lifetime. So if you're not happy with something, no one will change it but you. So it is up to you to get quiet and listen to your internal guidance system to be able to pinpoint what you need to be filling your day with more. because all the noise, the social media, being around people, working 24/7, it's noise. It's distractions typically. You got to get quiet. You got to listen to that internal guide. So the way you can do that, again, get quiet, get off social media, get everybody away. It's just you and you. Doesn't require money, doesn't require any workshops or anything crazy. Just get alone with you. Go inside, close your mind, close your eyes. Ask yourself, what would make me happy in this moment? Now, the knee-jerk reactions are going to be things that are your default mechanisms. So things like sometimes people will say like, well, I like to go to the bar, or, well, I like to drink my wine, or, it's something like that where it's not actually what your true self enjoys doing. It's just a default mechanism to give you a little dopamine and survive a life that you're probably a little bored with or overwhelmed with. It's not really who you truly are. Numbing out or having to use a substance to change your state is not who you truly are. You can get the joy without the substance. So a lot of times it helps to think of your childhood and what you love to do as a child. For me, I love nature. That's where I found peace. And now as an adult, I go into nature to find peace. Some people it's art. Maybe as a kid you love to draw. Get back to that. Anything that's going to give you that peace and make you feel more in alignment with your true self is going to give you clarity over other decisions in your life. So instead of waking up, getting ready and going straight to work and making decisions immediately, what if you got up and you centered your mind and you quieted yourself a little bit so that way you're not running on default mode. You're actually being an intentional decision maker in your day. You can design your life that way. So design your life in a way where you have as much items in it that bring you joy, not physical items, just activities, however you're spending your time. Make sure that's in alignment with what's bringing your higher self joy. If you do that enough, you will be in more of a continuous state that's elevated, that you want to expand. But if you're constantly saying yes to things that you don't want to say yes to, and you're in a job you hate, and you're tense all the time, I wouldn't even worry about your end goal or financial goals. I would ask yourself, what do I need to change today? Like, how do I need to change my state right now so I'm ready to amplify it? And that's where I'm going to close. All right, if you got value from this, please like and subscribe and let me know how you felt about this. So leave a comment. I would love to talk to you more about this. And as always, stay strong and be true to yourself. Love you guys.